technically impossible right now, and this is where a lot of the hype comes from when somebody says we're doing a blockchain-backed, I don't know, real-time audio engine. You can't do that. That's impossible right now. So anyway, we are doing the possible. Decentralized, this just means software running on each user's computer is all that is required. There's no central server that everybody is talking to. I run the software on my computer, you run it on your computer, they can talk to each other, and that's peer-to-peer. Does anyone remember Kazaa and eDonkey and eMule and Napster? That was peer-to-peer. You didn't have a centralized service that was providing all the illegal music, which made it really tough to take down. So it's a very resilient technology. It's not easily disruptible. And a VPN, virtual private network. It encrypts your local connection to the internet. Who has used a VPN? At work or at home or whatever? Okay, pretty normal thing. Room full of people, random people. What are they used for? What do you use a VPN for? You protect data. So who uses a VPN for your job? Like your boss makes you use a VPN. You can't do your work at home unless you're connected to the VPN, right? And that's data protection. It's protection of your employer's data as you transmit it. You have something on your computer, you upload a new sales forecast or a new piece of code to the server, and you want to make sure that it's not looked at. So you use an encrypted connection. So what about your data? You use your internet connection every day, and you don't use a VPN. So you aren't really protecting your data that you're sending out into the world. And this is, everything you do. Every site you visit, everything you search for, your click patterns, your exact frequency of visiting things. Have you ever mistyped an address in your bar, in your search bar in your browser, and you go to some page hosted by your ISP, by your internet service provider, and it says, it first shows you a bunch of ads, and then says, maybe you meant this other page. Well, they're earning money off of your failed search, and they also know everything that you search for. So your first connection to the internet, they know all that stuff. They're monetizing your data. They're going to sell that data. It's very valuable. I mean, it's totally legitimate business practice, but just to be aware that that does happen. Data protection also means security. So municipal Wi-Fi, conference Wi-Fi, coffee shop Wi-Fi, all these Wi-Fi access points are super convenient, but they are also completely unencrypted. So anyone on that same link can see your traffic. This is also, VPN is also used for data access, and that's access to your employer's data. You can't read the sales reports, you can't read the new commits to code server, you can't read documents unless you have a secure connection to read that data. So what about like the world's data, to be, speaking broadly? Well, when does that happen? Has anyone seen this? You try to go see the latest, coolest video ever, and well, you can't, because the music video rights holder has not given you access to it. So, okay, you don't see it. Or Netflix isn't available in your country yet. Or Hulu doesn't want to release live TV episodes to Spain yet. Any million examples. Or something as tragic as this, Pinterest. You can't get to Pinterest. Who uses Pinterest? I don't, but I'll raise my hand as an example. Pinterest? Okay, so you can't see the latest home decorating techniques. Well, China has deemed Pinterest a threat. It's completely blocked in China. You cannot go to Pinterest in China. That seems silly, right? But what if you couldn't go to any of these sites? These are all Wikipedia sites, pages specifically on Wikipedia that are blocked by China's firewall. And, small topics like constitutionalism, corruption, crimes against humanity, homosexuality, the hippocampus. Anything you can think of. There's 1,200 pages that are censored there. I don't think it's scary that like a specific person can't access that, but what if everyone around you can't access that? Nobody can casually go to these pages and read them and have a conversation over a coffee about these topics because they can't read them. That's kind of, unheard of in Western Europe. We don't think about that, but that happens in a lot of countries. So data access is also freedom. It's not just about looking at sales reports. Okay, so why blockchain? We're trying to get on the hype cycle and get super rich, right? No, we're actually using it for a very specific purpose. How do you pay for VPN services? How do you pay for VPN services? Do you mail them like a 10-euro bill in the mail? No. You have a credit card, a debit card, a bank account, PayPal, something like that. You have some sort of online thing that has funds that you can send to another company. So what about people that don't have bank accounts? There's a few of them. As of April, there's 1.7 billion of them in the world that don't have access to a bank account. So that's, a lot of people. And you might think that they're concentrated in specific countries, maybe poorer countries, or they don't have very much technological access. A couple other facts. 5% of the households in the US are unbanked. And you'll see this if you're in the United States and you go to a Walmart, you will see people standing in line at a check cashing service. These are people that don't have a bank account. They get their paycheck from work and they can't cash the check. They can't use it until they go to a check cashing service, and then they get some cash for their paycheck, and they pay Walmart a fee to change that money. So this is a normal thing for many, many people. And they're connected. They have a phone. I mean, it's not like they're living in a cave and they don't have a bank account. They don't have a bank account, but they have an internet connection. They probably have an Xbox. They probably have an iPhone. They have satellite TV. They have all these things, but they don't have a bank account. And so this is kind of a weird situation. Banks are not needed to acquire cryptocurrencies. So this is a way to make payments in between people without requiring you to have a bank account. You can acquire funds in several different ways. You can mine them. You can use faucets. Faucets are like a dripping stream of currency that people donate. Airdrops are like you participate in a competition and you get some coins. So for the users, you don't need a bank account. And for the providers, has anyone had to set up a payment gateway for their online store? Has anyone had to set up credit card processing, some sort of secure? Is it fun? Is it really like super fun to work on? No, it's really, really not fun. So you don't need one of those either. So the customer and the provider can interact directly. Anyone can be a provider with the software, and everyone in the world can choose that provider and pay them. So we're not here to compete. We're just providing software. Existing customers or existing providers can actually use the software and get new customers. Okay, decentralized users. I'm going to speed up a little bit. Some of this is blockchain general knowledge, and I don't know how many people and in which level you have for blockchain. So this is a question that a lot of people ask. How do you create an account if there is no central server for accounts? How does that work? Well, you don't, basically. Accounts are just a pair of keys, a pair of encryption keys, a public key and a private key. The public key, it's something like a username on the network, and the private key is something like a password on the network. I sign messages to you with my private key, and I address messages to your public key. Then you can validate my messages with my public key, and it confirms that only I sent them, and this is how we establish trust on a blockchain network. This is not quite accurate, but your public key is used to deposit funds, and your private key is used to withdraw those funds. So that's kind of how those things interact. Has anyone heard the term wallet with blockchain or Bitcoin? You need a wallet. How many people have a wallet? Oh my goodness, that's actually impressive. It's almost like it has something to do with one Bitcoin being worth 20,000 euros last year. Maybe that sparked some interest. Anyway, I think this is a misleading term. It's just a pair of keys. It's not like a physical thing where you have money in a wallet in your pocket. It's just a set of keys. So if anyone gets those keys, they are you on the network. That's it. They have your funds. It's over. Okay, so technical overview. We have providers. They create a service offer. They sign a formatted message describing their endpoint. How much does it cost? How much do you have to prepay in minutes? Where is it located? What is your name? And they send that transaction with a listing fee to a server. And that's to prevent spam. Then you show up in our nodes list and you can browse all the nodes that are available in the world. Customers download a wallet. They have that on their computer. It also contains more functionality to enable VPN connections, proxy connections, and you can acquire some coins with mining. I think I've talked about this. If you join our community on Discord and talk, there's actually a bot that will automatically send you like 1 LETHEAN, 2, 3, 4 per day if you're constructively participating in the community and helping people. Customers can choose a provider. Transaction is sent to prepay the number of minutes defined by the provider. The miners on the network validate new transactions. I'll talk about mining in a second in case that just is a word that you've heard of but don't understand what it does. And transactions are grouped into blocks every 2 minutes on this global network. The provider on the other side of this transaction monitors new blocks as they come in and sees if there's a transaction for them. And when they see the customer's transaction arrive for them, then they enable connectivity for that customer. And as you continue to browse your connection, or your connection stays up, and our software continually sends some payments to keep it going. At predefined intervals, the provider can define those intervals too. And when the customer disconnects, you get to rate the session. So we have some sort of community powered rating system to make sure that there aren't just a lot of garbage providers out there. So, some reinforcement there. Okay, technical specifics. This is, we get to drop some really lovely terminology. So if anyone is really familiar, blockchain, we are using a CryptoNote based Monero fork. CryptoNote is a type of technology, blockchain technology that allows you to create untraceable payments. Bitcoin does not use this. Bitcoin, you can follow transactions as they go around the chain, which means you can link transactions, which means if I send you 5 coins and you send that to him and he sends that to her, then I can follow those coins around the network and figure out the flow of cash. We don't have that. That is not in the technology. That is impossible, which means it's also resistant to analysis. In blockchain, everybody has a copy of the database, so to say. Everybody has a copy of all the transactions. So if it were susceptible to analysis, you could reconstruct the entire history of everybody's transactions on the VPN network since the beginning of time. And we don't want that, obviously. 2-minute block time, Bitcoin is 10, so a little faster. Standard HAProxy. I don't know if anybody uses HAProxy. It's a HTTP balancing technology, a load balancing proxy. And OpenVPN binaries, also just the standard OpenVPN components. We have binaries for Linux, Windows, and Mac. They run on command line interface, and they also run in a GUI wallet. This is what I primarily work on, actually, is the release engineering behind these, make sure that all the different fixes and features land in the different platforms and they're tested. And I mean, it's a lot of combinations that you have to make sure are working. Then we also have a browser extension that sits in Chrome, Firefox, or Opera that allows the connection between the browser and the wallet, connects those two data flows. And then on the provider side, we have a Linux-based solution because the world runs on Linux. And we're going to try and get more platforms, but for right now, it's Linux plus Docker, and that's what we're going to support. So mining specifics. Specific, very deep talk about mining, but maybe first, mining basics, right? It's what powers the network. That's why miners make money. So if you didn't have miners, the transactions would never be validated. They would never be processed. They would never, continue to move. It's the motor that keeps the network running. And this is based on proof of work. It's a type of algorithm. There's other consensus algorithms, they're called. There's a talk specifically on that later today, so that's great. We use proof of work. It burns electricity, but miners are compensated with coins for burning their electricity to process these transactions. Okay, big, awesome. We use egalitarian proof of work. Okay, well, that means we are friendly to run on normal computers. It can run on everybody's computer. You don't need to buy a special piece of hardware to be a miner. Like Bitcoin, you need to buy what's called an ASIC, an application-specific integrated circuit, like a 4,000 euro piece of equipment to process Bitcoin transactions. We don't have that. You can run the miner in a browser. So you open this page, you point it at your wallet, and it will keep generating coins and send them to your wallet. This is an example. I had this running yesterday, and then, can you tell when I was at the conference? And I didn't want to burn my battery all day sitting in the conference. So this is just my web browser mining some LETHEAN coins for the last 24 hours. And I should earn one coin for 24 hours. Okay. This is a slightly more powerful machine at my house. This is i7 desktop with a really old AMD card in it. So it's actually not profitable, but that's what I have. So this is about 700 hashes per second. The web browser is like 20 hashes per second. And you're paid by how many hashes per second you process. So the profitability chart on this looks like this. In 1 week, I should earn about 700 LETHEAN coins. And in 24 hours, I should earn about 100. So 100 coins per day on a 4-year-old desktop. It's not bad. So, demo time. This software is 1 week old. Yeah, it's been being worked on though for about 9 months. And it finally all came together. We have the server side, the wallets, the browser extension, everything. It was released this week. So, we are in an old church. Hopefully, everything is fantastic. Okay, so, let's see how this works. This is the daemon that runs on your computer. You will never see this. This is just to show you some, matrix scrolling that looks impressive, like, hey, this is a piece of software that's doing something. It is doing a lot. And this is gonna be fun typing here. So you type in status, or 1 second. Okay. Turn the logging down a little bit. This is the current height of the blockchain, 308,218. So that's how many blocks have been built on the chain, and this is where I'm at. So I'm at the top of the chain. I have the complete record of the network. I'm synchronized with the network. So that means I can make transactions on the network. So I open our wallet software, and it shows my balance up here. And I can look for a provider. It also shows that I'm connected. This is bad contrast, but I'm connected to the network and I'm synchronized. So, okay. I can go to the provider tab. Sorry for the bouncy audio. I'm not a rock star with this microphone. Okay. I can choose an exit node, it's called. These are all the providers on the network right now. So here's one in Holland, here's one in Germany, here's one in Las Vegas, here's one in Paris. So, okay, Germany. I can look at the details on it. Okay, looks good. It costs 0.01 LETHEAN per minute. So do some fast math. If you make 1 coin per day, That's 100 minutes. 1 coin per day in your web browser that you won't even think about. You have 100 minutes of VPN connectivity that you can use for free. It costs you some electricity. So if I go here to Germany and I connect, it reviews the payment and how much it will cost me. It's going to be 0.01 LETHEAN per minute, and the total price, because I have to prepay 60 minutes, is 0.6 LETHEAN. You have to do these bigger prepayments because the block time is 2 minutes. It's a slow network. You can't do per second billing yet. Maybe in another few years the technology will exist for per second billing like we're all used to. This is what we have. So, okay, I connect to that. It will now pop up a warning about it has sent the transaction to the network. It creates this transaction, signs it, sends it to the provider. Well, sorry, it sends it to the blockchain locally. My local daemon here has a copy of it, and it's put it into a transaction pool, a group of transactions that need to be processed. Now miners on the network are going to look at that transaction pool and process them. So this only happens every 2 minutes. So this first part can take a little bit. That's why we have to do a bigger chunk of time. So if everybody loves us today, there, okay, there. It saw the block. That means the provider received the block. It saw the transaction to it from me with my money. It cashed the money into its account and activated a connection for my computer. And I'm now connected to that node. So I have my download and upload speed here. If I go to my browser, this is some presentation gymnastics here. All right. Okay, where am I? Right now, it thinks, according to my browser, I'm in Bilbao. Makes sense. I haven't connected to the proxy yet. So this is our little browser extension. This connects the browser to the wallet. And now it creates this little connection locally on the system between the browser. It sets up a proxy. It points it at an instance of HAProxy that's running locally, which is then redirected across the internet in an encrypted, that's with public-private key encryption, goes across the internet, lands at that provider, and now my internet connection looks like it's coming out of that provider. So if I reload this page, where does it think I am now? I'm in Germany. That's it. I'm connected to Germany. Hey, it worked, okay. I should have pretended that this is, well, of course it always works, but I literally tagged this release like in the audience 2 days ago for the final binary. So yeah, that's how it works. That's the complete demo. I don't know where I'm at for time, because I did not look when I started. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I wanted to show, oh yeah, one thing. These are like live statistics. All those graphs and stuff that I had pictures of, those are all online services you can look at to check your profitability and speed, and you can even calculate how many coins you're going to make per day. If I do 20 hashes per second, then it will calculate based on the network difficulty. These are all the different Monero-based coins, or CryptoNote coins. Lovely names, turtle coin. LETHEAN, okay, well with 20 hashes per second, I'll get 2 coins per day. So that's like 200 minutes of connectivity per day for having a tab open in my browser. Anyway, that is what I have. I have other things I can pull up for questions, but I'll take questions. Oh, 1 second. I have to do the official question slide. Es muy importante. Un momento. Ya, ok, ya está. Y puedes preguntar en castellano si es más cómodo, claro.
¿Alguna pregunta? Sí, estamos aquí con uno de nuestros otros ponentes en ECO.
Hi. Bueno, te lo hago en castellano. Bueno, hemos visto que utilizas diferentes proveedores de VPN, ¿vale? Para conectar. El pago por parte de usuario para conectar la VPN es con vuestro propio coin, token o como quieras llamarlo, ¿vale? ¿Los proveedores estos admiten el pago con vuestro coin o usáis una pasarela intermedia para transformar en USD? O sea...
Sí. Ahora todo el red funciona con nuestro coin, nuestra moneda. Pero no es imposible cambiarlas automáticas entre euros o USDT con Tether, algo así. Pero sí, el proveedor tiene que desarrollar esta funcionalidad. No sé si es mejor que voy a explicar las cosas en castellano o inglés. ¿Qué preferís? ¿Es mi castellano o mi inglés?
Hola, buenos días. Sobre los proveedores, ¿cuáles son los criterios de selección para contar con unos proveedores u otros? Luego hay un sistema de votación colectiva para ver su calidad, pero hay características como la seguridad o la privacidad que ellos ofrecen. ¿Los proveedores se apuntan? ¿Vosotros ofrecéis a los proveedores? ¿Cuál es el criterio?
Sí, es un problema cuando todo el mundo puede abrir un proveedor, una cuenta o activar esta funcionalidad. No tenemos mucho ahora, tenemos un sistema de estrellas, 1 hasta 5 estrellas, está bien, está mal, funciona o no funciona, pero vamos a desarrollar más sistemas automáticos para comprar o comprobar las conexiones automáticas. Cada X minutos vamos a conectar a los proveedores, hacer un speed test, hacer una conexión hasta X páginas para mirar que está bien, está bloqueado, funciona este red o otros. Vamos a implementar esto, desarrollar este también.
Pero me refería también respecto a sus características de privacidad y seguridad, su confiabilidad.
Sí, ya, no es posible saber todo de cada proveedor, pero tenemos un sistema de menos, ahora me falta una palabra, logging, no tenemos mucho que tenemos que escribir en el disco sobre los clientes. Alguien puede modificar la software para ampliar esta cantidad de información sobre las conexiones, pero no podemos evitarlo. También VPNs normales, tradicionales, tienen un problema que dicen no van a escribir nada sobre las conexiones, pero están logueando.
Hola, Bruno. Yo te quería preguntar todos estos sistemas de blockchain y toda la universalidad y actuación por todos los mundos. El tema de la ley de protección de datos y la normativa europea de las directivas comunitarias, ¿habéis tenido en cuenta que cada país tiene su propia normativa a pesar de que tiene que aplicarla? Y luego, por ejemplo, el common law británico, incluso vosotros con vuestra normativa americana peculiar, ¿cómo podéis suscitar ese tema para evitar problemas y conflictos jurisdiccionales?
Sí, es imposible saber todas las leyes de todo el mundo y enforzarlas, pero si por ejemplo, hace, no sé, 5 años, 8 años, es ilegal usar Skype en este país. ¿Qué van a hacer la gente? ¿Usar Skype o no? Si dicen voy a cumplir con la ley, no van a usar Skype. Pero Si tienes Skype y quieres usarla y nadie va a decir nada, vas a usar Skype.
Sí, pero lo que yo quiero decir es que, por ejemplo, lo vuestro es tan novedoso que la propia Unión Europea ha tenido que modificar la legislación para adaptar al derecho informático, digamos. Entonces, ahora yo creo que va la ley detrás vuestro, porque parece como que quiere esto ir muy rápido y para evitar los excesos, pues se va creando una nueva normativa y tiene que haber una especie de compaginar unos con otros para que ni uno se pase ni otro. No sé si me habrás entendido.
No mucho, lo siento.
No,
pero
digamos que vosotros vais a un ritmo que la ley que va más despacio, si tiene que haber una especie de convergencia.
Esto es nada nuevo, ¿no? La ley es mucho más despacio que la tecnología, siempre. Y si estás usando una tecnología que tú sabes es ilegal, es tu culpa. No estamos esforzando que tú tienes que usar nuestra tecnología. Está ilegal en tu país, pues no usarlo. Lo sé. Si no hay más.
¿Alguna pregunta más?
Es que ricasco.
Vale, es que ricasco, Mike.